The earth is where all things begin. Just as a tree cannot rise high without roots deep in the soil, no warrior can rise in skill or understanding without first grounding himself in discipline and foundation. If you stand upon weak ground, no matter how sharp your blade or how quick your hand, you will fall at the first strike. The earth teaches stability, the unshakable base from which all strategy grows. It is not glamorous, it is not fast, and it is not easily achieved, but without it, nothing else can endure. When I first walked the path, I did not chase mastery through clever techniques or hidden secrets. I repeated the basics until they became unshakable. I learned to hold my sword firmly without stiffness, to place my steps without hesitation, to breathe with steadiness no matter the circumstance. These are not small things, they are the ground itself. The one who ignores them builds his house on sand, and when the storm comes, it collapses. The one who honors them builds upon stone, and nothing can move him. The earth is not only about the body, but also the mind. A mind without discipline is like loose soil, easily washed away by rain. If you cannot control your thoughts, you will be dragged by them in the heat of conflict. If fear grips you, if pride blinds you, if anger consumes you, you lose before the battle begins. Discipline is not a prison, it is the structure that allows freedom. When the ground beneath you is solid, you are free to move in any direction with certainty. Life itself is a battlefield. Many look for shortcuts, for ways to win without enduring the hardship of training, but there are none. The earth demands patience. Each day you place one stone, each day you reinforce the ground, and over time it becomes immovable. Those who lack patience fall quickly, but those who persist find that even when storms come, they remain standing. To walk this path requires faith in the unseen results of steady practice. You do not see the mountain grow, but each day it rises. Understand this: the earth does not change for you, you must learn to change for it. Stand where you are planted and learn stability before you seek movement. The warrior who begins with earth carries strength wherever he walks, because his foundation is not in technique alone but in discipline, clarity, and unwavering presence. Only when your roots are deep in the ground can you rise without fear. Water takes the shape of whatever vessel it enters. It does not resist, yet it cannot be destroyed. Strike it with your hand and it parts without struggle. Try to grasp it tightly and it slips away. But when gathered and directed, it can carve valleys, move mountains, and sweep away even the strongest fortress. To walk the path of strategy, one must learn from water. Rigidity may seem like strength, but in truth, it is the first to break. Flexibility is the deeper strength, for it allows you to respond without hesitation and to flow where resistance is weakest. In combat, there is never one fixed form. No stance or technique can serve in every situation. If you cling to one way of fighting, you become predictable, and predictability is defeat. Just as water finds its path naturally, bending around rocks and filling every empty space, you too must learn to adapt. When the opponent is strong, do not meet strength with strength, flow around it. When he is unbalanced, strike with precision where the opening appears. This requires a mind free of attachment, for attachment is rigidity. If you cling to one idea of how the battle should unfold, you blind yourself to how it actually unfolds. Water also teaches patience. It does not rush, yet over time it wears away even the hardest stone. A warrior who understands this does not always seek to win through force or speed, but through persistence and timing. There are moments when waiting is more powerful than striking. There are moments when yielding is the path to victory. To move like water is not weakness, it is to understand the rhythm of all things. But water is not only soft, it can also be fierce. In the flood, it sweeps away everything before it. In the storm, it smashes even the strongest ship. Adaptability does not mean passivity, it means choosing the right form for the right moment. When gentleness is needed, be gentle. When force is required, unleash it without hesitation. Water teaches that true adaptability is not about indecision, but about precision. This lesson goes beyond the battlefield. In life, obstacles will come in many forms. Some you can break through directly, but others must be met with patience and flow. If you are rigid, you will suffer at every turn. If you learn to move as water does, you remain unshaken no matter the form of the challenge. To live in this way is to never be cornered, for there is always a path forward if you allow yourself to see it. To master adaptability is to master freedom. Fire is the element of decisive action. It is the force that consumes, the power that transforms, the energy that moves without hesitation. In combat, hesitation is death. To strike too late is the same as not striking at all. Fire teaches that the moment must be seized with full commitment, without doubt or second thought. It is not enough to have skill, not enough to have discipline, not enough to have flexibility. You must also possess the will to act at the precise instant when action is required. When facing an opponent, you must learn to see the rhythm of the encounter. There are openings that last only for a breath, moments when your enemy reveals weakness, even if just for the blink of an eye. If you hesitate, that moment is gone and it will not return. Fire teaches you to recognize this timing and to act upon it with total focus. A strike delivered with clarity and conviction at the right instant has more power than 1,000 strikes thrown without purpose. The flame is not constant, but when it appears, it consumes everything in its path. Yet fire is not only about attack. It is also about energy, the force you bring into everything you do. If your spirit is weak, even the sharpest blade cannot save you. When your spirit burns like fire, your presence itself becomes overwhelming. The opponent feels it before your blade moves, before your body shifts. Victory often begins not when the strike lands, but when the enemy feels the weight of your spirit and begins to falter. Fire is intensity, and intensity shapes the field of battle. But fire must be controlled. A flame that burns without direction destroys everything, including the one who carries it. To master fire is not to lash out blindly, but to channel your energy with precision. Know when to advance with fury and know when to pull back to conserve your strength. Fire is most powerful when it is released at the perfect moment, not wasted in sparks that fade into nothing. This lesson also applies beyond combat, in life. There are opportunities that appear and vanish quickly. Many people see them but fail to act, waiting for the perfect condition for certainty that never comes. The one who understands fire knows that when the moment presents itself, it must be taken boldly. Action carries risk, but inaction carries defeat. Just as in battle, victory belongs to those who commit fully without hesitation when the time is right. To live with the fire of decisive action is to move through the world with courage, intensity, and unwavering resolve. The void is the most difficult to speak of, for it is not something the eyes can see or the hands can grasp. It is the realm beyond form, beyond technique, beyond all that is fixed. Many seek mastery in methods, in patterns, in the repetition of what is known, but the void is the wisdom that lies beyond what can be named. To step into it is to let go of attachment to structure, to outcome, to the self that clings to certainty. The void is freedom. In combat, a man who clings to technique is already defeated. He may have practiced 1,000 cuts, but if his mind is bound to those cuts, he will fail when the situation changes. The one who understands the void moves without such limits. He does not think, I must strike in this way, or I must defend in that way. He simply acts, and his actions arise naturally from the moment itself. The void is the space where thought falls silent and action flows without resistance. It is not nothingness in the sense of emptiness alone. It is everything, the unseen source from which all form arises. When you let go of rigid structures, you discover clarity that cannot be forced. You see the battlefield without distortion, and in that clarity, the correct action reveals itself. This is why the void is the highest teaching. It cannot be learned through imitation, only through direct experience, when the mind is no longer caught in fear, pride, or desire. The void also teaches impermanence. All victories fade, all defeats fade, even the body itself fades. If you build your life upon what is temporary, you will suffer when it is taken away. But when you understand that all things are fleeting, you no longer grasp at them desperately. This detachment does not make you weak, it makes you unshakable. You act fully in each moment, but you are not bound by what passes. In this way, the void becomes the deepest strength, for it depends on nothing outside of itself. Beyond the battlefield, this truth remains the same. In life, people cling to possessions, to titles, to recognition, to the illusion of control, but all of it is as fragile as dust in the wind. To walk in the void is to release this clinging, to live with clarity and freedom. Then every step, every word, every act becomes natural, without struggle, without hesitation. When the mind is free of form and attachment, you no longer chase victory or fear defeat. You simply move with what is, and in that movement lies true mastery.